One evening, 5 friends from the university dorm, Sarah, Jack, Emily, Alex, and Ryan, decided to take a long weekend trip to a lakeside cabin. Before nightfall, they set off on their journey, chatting and listening to music, excited for their adventure. The cabin was old and somewhat eerie, but that was part of the appeal. They were looking for adventure, and this place seemed perfect. When they arrived at the cabin, they were greeted by a musty, old smell. The place was cluttered and dusty, with cobwebs in the corners. Everything looked outdated and a bit abandoned. At first, they took it all in stride and began to enjoy themselves. However, as night fell, strange things started to happen. First, they heard eerie noises around the cabin. They couldn't tell if it was just the wind or something else. Then Emily's phone camera began capturing strange silhouettes in the background of her photos. Initially, they dismissed it as a glitch, but the occurrences grew increasingly unsettling. The next day, deeply disturbed by the strange events, they decided they needed to leave the cabin. Sarah found an old diary that detailed tragic events in the cabin's past. It spoke of murders and horrific experiments conducted by a deranged asylum patient. After reading the diary, the friends were even more anxious to leave, but suddenly their car's tires burst, leaving them stranded. Desperate to escape, they decided to head to the nearest place marked on an old map, a long-abandoned asylum. The asylum, which had been closed for years, stood in a dilapidated state. With no other options, they sought refuge there. Inside the asylum, they found it to be far more terrifying than they anticipated. The place was filled with long-unused, dusty rooms and unsettling drawings on the walls. Old medical equipment, covered in grime, created an atmosphere of dread, as if something was watching them. In one room, they found an old photo frame on the wall. The photograph showed the previous occupants of the cabin, but something was off. They all looked terrified and distressed. Just then, a scream echoed through the halls, and as they tried to leave, the doors suddenly shut. They tried various ways to escape, but each attempt failed. The oppressive darkness seemed to be watching them, making every effort seem hopeless. Finally, in a moment of desperation, the asylum doors opened, allowing them to flee. When they returned to the cabin, everything seemed normal again, but the horrifying experience had left an indelible mark on them. Years later, no one ever ventured near that asylum again. The night they spent in the cabin remained an unforgettable experience among the friends.